Hello friends, welcome back to the next lecture. In the last lecture we have discussed about the different system of forces. Now in today's lecture we are learning the methods to find out the resultant. In last lecture we have seen that there are number of forces acting on a body. We called it as a system of forces, and when these number of forces will be replaced by a single force causing the same effect, that force we call it as a resultant force. So here you can see in this, here are total 5 forces are applied on this rigid body, and this will be get replaced by a single force, that is R. We called it as a resultant force. Now to determine this resultant force, there are different methods used. The first, triangle law, second, parallelogram law, third, polygon law, and the fourth one, resolution and composition. Now let's discuss all these methods one by one. So the first method to determine the resultant is triangle law. It says that if two vectors are represented in magnitude and direction by two sides of a triangle taken in order, their resultant is represented in magnitude and direction given third side of triangle, drawn from the starting point of the first vector to the end point of the second vector. Let's see clearly. It says that, for example, there are two forces acting. Let's say this is the first force as P and this one is the second force as a Q. So here this force is P, then the second force let's say as a Q. These two forces are acting okay. Now if I want to replace these two forces by a single force, that is R, as per the triangle law it says that any one force out of these two, you can choose either P or Q. If these two forces, let's say this as a P drawn and the second force drawn, if these two forces taken in order, the first force wherever it ends, from the same point we have to draw the second force. Then if I want to complete the triangle, then the third side of this triangle drawn from the starting point of the first to the end point of the second, this will represent the resultant force. Again see, the first force and the second force, if these two are representing two sides of a triangle, then the third side of the triangle will represent the resultant, and it will be drawn in a manner that wherever the first force ends, the second force will be starting from that. Then the resultant will be drawn from the starting point of the first to the end point of the second. And by using sine rule or cosine rule, we can determine the unknown values. For example, in this triangle, small a, b and c will represent the three sides of the triangle, and capital A, B, C, this will represent the three angles. Then in that case, applying a sine rule, the ratio of side to the angle means the front side is A to the sine of angle A is equals to the front side B to the sine of angle B, then the third side C to the sine of angle C. This ratio will be same. It's nothing but the sine rule. Then cosine rule, that cos of angle A is equals to B square plus C square. B and C are the two sides which making the angle A, and minus A square. Minus A square is the front square of the front side divided by 2 times of product of the two sides which makes the angle, that is nothing but B into C. Similarly, cos of B equals to A square plus C square minus the front side B square divided by the product of these two twice of AC. Similarly, cos of C equals to A square plus B square minus the front side C square divided by the product of the adjacent side, that is A and B, twice of AB. By using this sine rule or cosine rule, we can determine the unknown parameters. Now, whenever all the three sides are given, it will be more preferable that we can use the cosine rule to determine the values of the angles. Now, one of the most important thing in case of triangle law is that triangle law is used only for two force systems. It means whenever there are only two forces in a system, then only the triangle law can be used. If it is more than two forces, triangle law is not at all used to determine the value of resultant force. Then the second method to determine the resultant is parallelogram. It says that if two vectors are represented in magnitude and direction by two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, it means, for example, if you are considering over here, this is P and this one is Q. So if these two P and Q will representing a two adjacent sides of this parallelogram, then their resultant is represented in magnitude and direction by the diagonal. You can see here the red color line, nothing but the diagonal representing the resultant vector R, and this will be drawn from their common point towards the opposite end. Right? Means if we are considering the same example, the two forces P and Q, then this is a P. Just a minute. If this is a P and then this one is the Q, so this is their common point P and Q, then if we are completing this parallelogram, then the diagonal of this parallelogram will represent the value of resultant force R. Right? And this resultant R is drawn from this common point of the two forces, that is P and Q. Now, in the parallelogram, if we are applying some geometrical and trigonometrical rules, then finally we are getting this formula to determine the resultant, that R equals to under root of P square plus Q square plus twice of PQ into cos of alpha, where alpha is the angle between the two forces P and Q. Then tan theta equals to, theta is the angle between the P and R, or we can say theta is the angle of R with respect to force P, which is equals to Q into sin alpha divided by P plus Q into cos alpha, that is theta is with respect to P. Right? For example, if you are considering over here, so this angle is nothing but the theta angle, right? And this angle, the angle between P and Q, is nothing but the alpha. And now if I draw here the horizontal line, if I want to find out the angle with respect to horizontal axis, that is nothing but the x-axis. So here this is the angle of resultant force R with respect to x-axis, which is equals to this beta minus this theta. You will get this angle, right? This angle theta, and with respect to R, by applying the geometrical rules, we will get the value of this angle R with respect to x-axis. By using this formula, tan theta equals to Q sin alpha divided by P plus Q cos alpha, we get the angle of resultant force R with respect to force P. Now in the given figure, P is along the horizontal line. It means theta with respect to P or theta with respect to X is same. But if this force P is at an inclined level, then in that case, to determine the angle with respect to x-axis, we have to apply that geometrical rules as per the given data. Right? Again, the most important thing in case of parallelogram law also, that parallelogram law is used for two force system only, as like the triangle law. Triangle law and parallelogram law, these are the two methods of determination of resultant for two force system only. If it is more than two, these two methods are not at all used. Now, in those cases, whenever there are more number of forces in a system than two, we are using the next two methods, that is polygon law or resolution and composition method, to find out the resultant. Let's see the polygon law. Polygon law, that is, if more than two vectors are represented in magnitude and direction by sides of an incomplete polygon taken in order, their resultant is represented in magnitude and direction by the remaining side of the polygon, drawn from the starting point of the first vector to the end point of last vector. Let's see. Here few of the forces given, that is P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, the number of forces in a system. Now, to find out the resultant of all these forces in a system, we have to draw all these forces in order. That means, let's see, this is P1. Wherever it ends, from that we have to start P2. Then wherever it ends, we have to draw P3. Then next P4. Next P5. So now, to make this a closed polygon, these two endpoints are joined by means of a line will representing the resultant vector or resultant force R, and this will be joined in a way that from starting point of the first to the end point of the last vector. Polygon law is the method which is mostly used in case of graphical method, wherever we are actually taking the scale for drawing all these forces, and then by joining the end points we get the value of resultant. So it's a graphical method to determine the resultant force. And the last method to find out the resultant force is nothing but the resolution and composition. This is one of the most preferable method which is used to determine the value of resultant force. This method is suitable for n number of forces in a system. It may be used, or it is used for the forces having two forces, or it will be used for the forces having 3, 4, 5 up to n number of forces in a system. Let's see the process of adding the number of forces acting on a body and finding out the resultant force of a given system is called as composition of forces. That is, resolve the force in x and y direction and find Rx and Ry, where Rx is the algebraic summation of the component of forces in x direction and Ry is the algebraic summation of components forces in y direction. Let's see in detail. Okay, so let's consider this is y-axis, this is x-axis, and this is one of the force, let's say P1. Now the another force is acting here, let's say P2. Okay, now to find out the resultant of these two forces by using resolution, we have to resolve the forces into horizontal and vertical components. So while resolving, go step by step. So this is the horizontal component and this will be the vertical component. Now as the force is pulling type of force, so the components are also pulling type of force. Then here let's say this is the angle theta 1. Okay, now when we resolve this, or let's say angle is equals to some it is acting with respect to some angle 30 degree, right? Now the value of the component of P1, a horizontal component, is equals to then P1 cos of 30, right? And the value of the component, vertical component, is P1 sin of 30, right? Now you have to assign the cos of angle to the component with which the force will making an angle. So here P1 will making an angle of 30 degree with respect to x-axis. Therefore, the horizontal component of force P1 is P1 into cos of 30. And then the second another component is P1 into sin of 30. One more thing, this is a positive x direction, so this component is sign conventions which we are considering. In the positive direction of x-axis we are considering the positive signs, and in the positive direction of y-axis we are considering the positive y. Therefore, as both of these are along the positive x-axis, so this will be positive, this will be again positive. Then similarly we are resolving the second force, considering the force P2 making an angle of, let's say, some 25 degree with respect to the x-axis. Then to resolve the force P2, this is a horizontal component, and similarly the vertical component here, and the values of these two components is equals to P2. Now here the angle is made with respect to x-axis, so therefore horizontal component is cos of 25. Then the another component is P2 sin of 25. Okay, now if I am considering one more force, let's say P3, and P3 is making an angle of, say, 35 degree with respect to y-axis. Then to resolve this force P3, drawing a horizontal component, then this will be again the vertical component, and the value of the component is P3. Now here the axis is made with respect to what? Y-axis. Therefore the y component is assigned as a cos, and the another component is assigned as a sin, that is P3 sin of 35, and the y component is equals to P3 cos of 35. One more thing we have to see over here, that is, if I am considering P3, this is in the positive direction of positive x-axis, so hence this is positive, and this P3 cos of 35 which is opposite to the positive, hence this will be considered as a minus component, right? That is minus P3 cos of 35. Similarly over here P2 sin 25 which is opposite to the positive y, so this component is also negative, that is minus P2 sine of 25. Then here x component of P2, that is again this is a positive is towards right and this force is going towards left, therefore which is negative. So in this way the forces will be get resolved into horizontal and vertical components, and therefore finally to determine the value of resultant we have to take the summation of all the horizontal force components, that is P1 cos of 30 plus P3 sine of 35 minus P2 cos of 25, which is equals to Rx. Then P1 sine of 30 minus P3 cos of 35 minus P2 sine of 25, that is all the y components, that is equals to Ry. After determining Rx and Ry, here the resultant force R equals to square root of Rx square plus Ry square, which is equals to R. Similarly like this, here this is a R. And now to determine the value of tan theta or the angle which made by the resultant R is equals to, here that is if I am resolving this force, this is a Rx component and this will be the Ry component of force R, and therefore theta is equals to this horizontal and this vertical, so tan theta equals to Ry divided by Rx. If I am taking this extending downward direction, right, so this will be distance Ry and this is a horizontal distance Rx. So theta equals to tan inverse of this Ry divided by Rx. So in this way, by using resolution and composition method, we can determine the resultant force R. Now in the next videos we learn or we solve some numericals to find out the value of resultant force by using all these different methods which we have learned, that is triangle law, parallelogram law, resolution and composition. Okay, thank you.